never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tell me to someone who will love me, yeah.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. It's a Tuesday, got a lot I want to talk about today, but let's go ahead and talk about the sad stuff first and get it over with, because I hate talking about sad stuff, but sometimes you have to. Yesterday, Robert Miller passed away at the age of 78. If you're a wrestling fan, you know who that is without me giving any details, but he was better known as Butch, one half of the Bushwhackers from the early to mid 90s in the WW at the time. It was Bushwhacker Butch and Luke. They came out wearing camouflage and always walked around like this with their arms over their head, and Butch was the bigger of the two men. So if you picture the Bushwhackers side by side, Robert Miller was the bigger one. But before they came to the WWF, they were big over in Australia as the sheep herders. So they were in the wrestling business for a long time. My understanding was he was invited to WrestleMania weekend in Los Angeles, but on Sunday he suddenly fell ill. So I'm not quite exactly sure what was wrong, but it's never good when a loved one passes away, especially when it's unexpected. So thoughts and prayers and good vibes go out to the family of Robert Miller, better known as Bushwhacker Butch, who passed away yesterday at the age of 78. While we're on the subject of wrestling, this Saturday we are back at 244 Livestock Road, East Denali, Georgia. Doors open at 6 o'clock. Bell time is 7 o'clock for SWA Wrestling. Hope to see everybody out there. Let's quickly do a Braves weekly review. Can't do a full review because they only have played 4 games so far. The season started Thursday, had an off day on Friday, then they played Saturday, Sunday, and last night, and they won 2 of 3 over the weekend from the Nationals. Then they beat the Cardinals last night, off to a 3-1 start on the season. The only bad news so far was Thursday in the season opener. After 3 1/3 innings, Max Fried had to come out of the game due to a hamstring injury. The Braves told us it wasn't very serious, but in reality, you don't really ever know with the hamstring. It's just like a growing injury. Every single person recovers at a different level, at a different speed. It can be 10 people with hamstring injuries, and all 10 of them will heal at a different time. So honestly, really, truly, you're always guessing. But they didn't think he would miss more than 1 or 2 starts. But I'm going to guess, since it's Tuesday and there hasn't really been any news about it that he's going to be out more than 1 or 2 starts. Sunday, they had a rookie go named Jared Schuster. He gave up 4 runs in the first, but after that, he pitched really good. But the Braves only had, I believe, 3 hits on Sunday. Then last night, Charlie Morton gets his first win of the year and his first start of the year. They won 8-4. Charlie Morton didn't pitch that good. He gave up 3 runs in 5 1/3, which is not good. But when your team scores 8 runs for you, you get the win. That's all that matters. Right now, the Braves are fixing to be looking at a rotation of Spencer Strider, Jared Schuster, Dylan Dodd, Charlie Morton, and then either Ian Anderson or Bryce Elder because of the Max Fried injury. They haven't announced yet which one it's going to be. I'm going to guess Bryce Elder because Ian is struggling down in AAA and Kyle Wright's already out hurt. So unless they all of a sudden decide to use Mike Soroka, I'm going to guess it's going to be either Ian Anderson or Bryce Elder. Neither one of them are any good, but one of them has to pitch in the absence of Fried, while you also have Kyle Wright out. And since Ian's struggling so bad, I'm going to guess it's Bryce Elder. But the new rule changes are helping out tremendously for all the whiny babies that complain that baseball takes too long, which is a complete falsification. But for those that think that, the games so far this year are moving at a lot faster pace. Last night's Braves game with the Braves winning 8-4. The game took 2 hours and 46 minutes. Most of the time, if a game has a final score of 2-1, it'll take 2 hours and 46 minutes. So it's definitely moving at a lot quicker pace. And we got to wrap up by saying congratulations to the LSU Women's National Championship basketball team, and congratulations to the UConn men. The LSU women won their first ever national championship Sunday by defeating Iowa, and then the UConn men won their 5th national championship last night by defeating San Diego State. Caitlin Clark made a few bad plays in Sunday's game that if they didn't cost Iowa the game, they at least cost Iowa a chance to be competitive in the game. But let's face it, without Caitlin Clark, Iowa never would have made it there. So really, you can't be mad at her. But she did make a few boneheaded plays in that game. But back in the day, for all you long-time basketball fans, Larry Bird was really, really, really good at taking an average team and winning with them. Without Larry Bird, the Celtics were maybe a 35-win team. With Larry Bird, they win the NBA Finals. Kind of that way with Iowa and Caitlin Clark. Yeah, she made some bad plays Sunday, but without Caitlin Clark, Iowa is maybe a 15-win team. And with Caitlin Clark, they go to the national championship game. So even if she did cost them the game on Sunday, without her, they would have never made it. And then last night, UConn continued their impressive streak. They not only went through the tournament looking really good, they won just about every game in complete, total blowout fashion. I was pulling for San Diego State only because they were the big-time underdogs, but it's UConn's 5th national championship, and if I'm not mistaken, their last one in 2014 was another year where they got in and they weren't a 1 seed, they weren't a 2 seed, they weren't a 3 seed, and not many folks were talking about them, but the longer the tournament went, the more it looked like they were the best team. It was the same way this year. We'll find out when the TV ratings come out whether anybody watched or not. Hopefully they did. I hope the fact that there wasn't a blue blood in the Final Four didn't hurt the ratings. But we know that Iowa women got to the finals by defeating the South Carolina women, and the South Carolina girls basketball team, Dawn Staley, needs to just keep her mouth shut. If you've ever heard the old saying, sounds like sour grapes, that's what Dawn Staley is. She never wants to admit that her team got beat. She never wants to admit that she got out coached. So every time they get beat, she makes up these off the wall stories to try to get the attention focused on the story instead of focusing on her team getting beat. And she done that again after the Gamecocks lost Friday night, and a lot of people are upset about it because she doesn't complain all the time. And to me, if these kind of things were really a big deal, you would say something about it during the season, whether you're winning or not. Heck, you can say it on an off day. That way, people take it serious because they know, hey, you're not just talking because you didn't play last night. But when you only complain when you lose, you come across as a sore loser. It comes across as a sour grapes, and it comes across as you're complaining because you want to get the attention on the story that you're telling instead of the story of your team getting beat. So Dawn's best advice is to keep her mouth shut. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the 2004 inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at hfotusa.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Why did the man put his money in the freezer? Because he wanted some cold, hard cash. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.